Dexter Lumis returned to WWE last week in kind of controversial and shocking fashion. We saw him being arrested at the end of Monday night on Raw. Now, if you paid attention through the show, you've seen a couple of backstage segments of what was going on behind such segments. We saw Kevin Owens having an interview. In the background, there was a crashed car. Nikki ASH and Doudrop were on the scene. And we saw the Women's Tag Team Tournament having a bit of a confrontation control along with Alexa Bliss and Asuka. Of course, backstage there, behind the scenes, we saw police going past. It was only when AJ Styles and The Miz had finished their main event match on Raw, we see someone being arrested in the crowd. It was none other than Dexter Lumis. In the meantime, right now, there are more questions than answers. It's for us to put the dots together, what happened on Raw last week, to come with the ultimate conclusion. But in the meantime, it's a great excuse for some fantasy booking fun. So what I'm going to do for you, I've got a couple of ideas from the live Q&A that I did this past week, myself and Jonesy Chats Wrestling, giving some of my fantasy booking ideas along with one of his. And then when you come back to me, I've got another great idea which I'm going to put to you here on screen.
Here's idea number one I'm going to throw to you. Karrion Kross and Scarlett returned last Friday on SmackDown. Dexter Lumis returned on Raw this past week. Now, obviously, they took out and they caused violence in the idea that we don't know what happened backstage with the car crash and all the sorts of stuff like that. What about this idea of an NXT reunion, black and gold invasion, trying to take over both Raw and SmackDown? You cost a lot of people their jobs. They're all coming together. They're all actually coming back in separate parts, but they all come together in the end.
I like it. I think it's genius. If you can slow build it up to Survivor Series, you're on the money, aren't you? And that is a proper brand invasion. I agree. I think that'd be great to see. Really good thinking, Steve. I think what I want to see from it, I actually think if they're clever, they would say it wasn't Dexter who was driving the car, that was somebody else, and they can add people, as you said. But I like it, mate. That's a really good fantasy booking idea. Let's see where they go with this. And the way we're getting these returns, it's just crazy, isn't it? And this isn't the beginning. There's loads of others that are probably coming back soon, which will make it even more fun.
Absolutely. Here's my second one there for you, and we'll get back to the questions after that. And it does involve the Way, because I think it can be a reformation of the Way. What if it's the starting block? We were in Ohio this past week for Monday Night Raw. Everyone was speculating the idea Johnny Gargano is coming back. But instead of Johnny Gargano, we got one of the members of the Way. We got Dexter Lumis. And obviously, it can be a case of that we get piece by piece. Dexter Lumis is here. All of a sudden, Indy Hartwell comes up to Monday Night Raw because Dexter doesn't talk. Why did he do what he did? Maybe she comes, she can explain what could be the small pieces, what we can be revealed at the time. And following that, we eventually get Johnny Gargano and we get Candice LeRae make a return. And maybe we get the Way complete. And the whole purpose of them coming in is to take over Monday Night Raw, but also to aid Theory in successfully cashing in Money in the Bank.
I like it. Really, really like it. Theory, to be fair, is kind of outgrown the Way by his cockiness, but it would make sense to want to help their biological son, so to speak. I like it, Steve. I've got one out there for you as well, Steve. This is controversial. So we remember on Raw this week, Dominic Mysterio ended up bloody, didn't he?
He did.
Can you imagine that was by Dexter Lumis that did that? He was part of that, and that then leads him into Judgment Day. So that's one I would put out there now as well. Do you know there's the car crash on Raw? There's loads of thoughts and comments about that. What about if Dexter Lumis is the one that drove it and it then went into Dominic? But yeah, mate, it's just so exciting, isn't it? And the way we're at the beginning of this journey now, there's so many questions, not enough answers at this point, but it's great to be in this place once.
It's what makes it exciting.
It does.
So that's what we had to say, and one more ultimate fantasy booking idea for you before we go into Raw this evening comes courtesy of James from This Week in Metropolis. He said to me this idea, said, Steve, why not share this with some of your subscribers, see what they think? And he said, well, we have the return of Karrion Kross and Scarlett, we have the return of Dexter Lumis. How about instead of NXT black and gold style invasion, how about this is the first pieces being put together of a group of another returning WWE superstar? I'm talking about Bray Wyatt, because if you look at Bray Wyatt's Twitter handle, it's the Wyatt Six. What if more than meets the eye to this, and there is 6 members of this group? Let's say, I don't know, Eric Redbeard or a Braun Strowman would have come in to fit the puzzle of 6 superstars that are not just going to take over one side of WWE, but all of WWE together. It could be very interesting. It could be what the Wyatt family should have been all along. When I heard it, I thought it was a fantastic idea. I thank James from This Week in Metropolis for giving us that idea. I wanted to share it with you here on video and see what you think of these fantasy booking ideas in the comments below. How would you like to see the Dexter Lumis story play out here in WWE? Personally, for me, I'm going to say, I hope we don't get all the answers tonight. I'm hoping it's a scenario of why was he here? What was going on? And trying to put some more questions together that we should be asking, maybe with one or two subtle answers. Play this out over a number of weeks. It's an intriguing storyline and it's got a lot of people guessing, which I think is a great thing for WWE. We need cliffhangers, we need excitement. This is the sort of thing that hooks fans in. It's what I'm personally here for. But that's all for me. If you've enjoyed this video, hit the like button, share it with a friend, subscribe as well to the channel, and keep an eye out. More videos will be dropping on the channel this week, and you can check out these other videos on the side of your screen right now. But that's all for me. Thanks for watching. You've been watching SCW here on YouTube.